Welcome, guys. We're just getting set up. Sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy a action-packed race. Welcome, absolutely everybody, to the iRacing LeMans series here at Imola Circuit. It is round 3 of 13 this season. Season 3, 2020. Glad you guys could be here alongside us. I have Josh Mills going around now, doing his qualifying. And we've got cameras. Actual cameras. I mean, look at this. Look at that brand spanking dapper camera. As always, I am joined by the man himself, Craig King. Craig, how are you?
Good evening. I'm doing well. So does this mean that you've now got an addiction to cameras like I've got an addiction to car liveries? Because it pretty much sounds like it at the moment.
That's exactly right.
It is. But come on. Let's give a warm welcome, actually a warm return to the Autodrome Enzo Itino Ferrari. We haven't seen Imola for about a year, I want to say, on ILMS. And it's like if Monza is the big brother of Italian motorsports, then Imola is that little brother that is still amazing, but doesn't get all the plaudits. And hence why it was the San Marino Grand Prix, because Monza was just that good and that legendary. So it's still a great track, and maybe we'll see it again in F1. Who knows? But we're not driving F1 cars today. We're driving something way better than F1 cars. We're driving Audi R18s, Porsche 919s, Honda performance cars, and modern day GTEs.
So we've got one class that's modern day, and the rest of them are just, they're there.
I mean, Porsche's kind of modern. It's only 2 years retired, isn't it now? 3? Oh, well. I mean, it's still modern to me. Come on. It's still modern to me.
So you judge modern by how long they've been out of the actual racing grid.
The McLaren that Senna dominated and Prost dominated with, that's still modern, right? Oh dear. So, now I haven't raced a lot. I haven't seen a lot of Imola this week, so the times are going to be a little bit. I'm not sure what times we're looking at right now, but for like an average time. But at the moment, Isma Yakubu puts the car on pole. Puts the Audi on pole in the LMP1 class with the only time under 127 with a 126.792, and Nathan Ames then responds with a 0.711. So only 2 drivers so far, and I'm just looking to see if any of them are still out on the track. Sam Blackwood is, but it looks like he's going wide there. I'm not sure if he'll have a run here. We'll just keep an eye on that. But only 2 cars under the 127s, and bar a couple, actually, the whole P1 field is pretty competitive at the moment this week. So let's just see what Blackwood's doing. He had a 27.634 in his first lap. Going across the line just now, really hugs that inside there on the start-finish straight. It will be, as he comes around the line now, a 27.377, enough to put him up 2 places to 6th. So an improvement of some sorts, and I think actually that also makes him the fastest driver in his team. So bit of bragging rights there.
I mean, it's bragging rights, but it's all about surviving that first turn in the Tamburella. You know, it's claimed some very notable names in iRacing, especially with the amount of cars that just pile in on the first lap alone. The HPDs, I think, are just finishing up now. Look at are the GTEs finishing up? They are indeed. The GTEs are finishing up. So let's get started with rounding off qualifying and the results.
Yeah, we still got 3 HPDs about to 4 HPDs about to finish and 4 GTEs, but one of them's just gone off. So we'll just go ahead now with the LMP1. They're all finished. Nathan Mess will take pole position with a 126.711. Next to him at the front of the queue will be Ismail Yakubu with a 126.792. Alex Salmon takes P3 with a 127.137, and Ruslan Baramif Cloth, no, it is Koloff. A 127.221. Alexander Jajako would take a 127.3 recurring. Sam Blackwood to P6 of a 127.377. Will Lyon in P7, 127.478. Alexander Gerber, a 127.724. Connor Pearson, a 128.082. And Josh Mills, a 128.232. That's actually all the LMP1 drivers have qualified. So that's a first, I think. There's still 2 HPDs driving a round. It's car number 10, or is it? My numbers are wrong, but it is also, that's it. So we'll go through the HPDs, shall we? Do you want to go through those? You can get it. That's easy, that one.
.752. Vila with a 133.795. Otorola with a 134.250. Oh, yeah. My microphone was muted on stream. Good me.
Wow. Okay. We'll just quickly say, did they hear all that? Thompson, Jones, Lucas, Denea, Rapport, and Bergman is your top 5 for the GTEs. There was 5 GTEs that did not set a time. 2 HPDs that did not set a time. That is Francisco Javier Gonzalez, and Remy Liloran, because there's no accents on the letters. I will learn French again and hopefully not mess that up. But it's an all Audi field for the LMP1s, apart from Dejako, who is the lone Porsche. So this will be interesting, and he's actually put it in the middle of the field. So really curious to see what happens there as we're getting ready. I think, where are they? They have come around, where is that? They've come around the Variante Alta. So they'll be coming around Rivasa shortly, Rivasa 1 and Rivasa 2, and then going down to take the start of the race.
They've just come around. Now, you can see the cameras pointed down the pit straight, the grid straight. They will come around in just a second. You can hear the engines in the background. Let's get ready to race. They do go off. The green flag is waving. Green flag racing between the 9 Audis and 1 Porsche. As they... Ooh, there's contact already before turn 1 as they dive into turn 1. Tamarella 1 coming around. Tamarella 2. No real dramas other than that. Tamarella 3, they exit just fine. Yakubu is making a huge lunge already. Let's go to the Ooh, we've got an off with the LMP2s. Daniel Kraft is making out just okay, but there's a P2 in the background that has blown his engine, I think. And the GTE, Josh Thompson, Jorge Augusto, and Matsius Luksak have all made it through.
Denea is at the back of the field. Denea and Begman for the GTEs have had a coming together of some sort, and I'm not sure what has happened. But the P4 and the P6 GTE are at the back of the field after an incident there. I'm not sure what's happening. Thompson, Lucas, Jones, as Lucas get past, and Claudio Bisparelli, the car number 30, out of nowhere, it's gone from 7th to 4th to start the race. So what a start there for the GTE drivers there. Looks like a bit of argy-bargy coming around the start-finish straight before they got to the first corners. Everybody makes it out apart from those two, so going to keep an eye on this gaggle right now between Viceleri, Rapoch and Osthoff, and actually Augusto right behind him. It's early days, but these four even, look like they're going to be having a bit of a battle in the GTEs, but we've got to keep an eye on every class as per usual.
Sorry, I had to turn you up. So the stream can hear your beautiful voice. The gaggle of 4 now with the AF course liveried number 30 coming through. Ravazza 2. I was about to say Ravazza the second.
Oh God.
Making way through their first lap. The GTEs, the LMP1s and LMP2s have already crossed the line. They've crossed the line quite a while ago. But it's a gaggle of 4 now as they come down towards Tamburella 1 onto 2 and then onto 3. Thank you guys for the follows in the chat. I appreciate you.
Yeah, not the right time to do a bit of not the right time to give a bit of a kiff there. Hopefully there's going to be no kiffing right now in the race as we go ahead. They come around to the chicane, keeping it nice and straight. Look at it, it's a Ford in the middle of 2 Ferraris. That is a weird combination. This is not Le Mans. Does Rapport defend the inside? He does, but Osthoff has gone wide. Augusto will take P6 away there, and they are still racing as they come to the mineral water corner, as I like to call it. Touchy, holds off pretty well. Augusto still keeps on to that P6 from Osthoff there, and we've got Jenna Arimaras, because I'm not going to butcher that name. I'm sorry. It's called. I'm sorry, Arias. I'm sorry, Arimas. I am sorry, but I'm not going to butcher. He's gone off. You've cursed him. No, I have not cursed him. I have cursed him. There's been contact. He has been. Oh, what's happened to him? Just goes a bit wide and parks the car. Practically parks the car, and Bristoff drives into the back of him. How much damage did he have? Oh, it's a Ford. It always looks ugly at the front, but he had a lot of damage.
Just by the way, your microphone cut out. You were shouting so much, your microphone cut out.
Wow, that's a first.
These 4 are still going strong. There's been no position change. Let's have a look then at the LMP2s, shall we? Because I mean, look at it. It's close. So let's have a look.
Linear has P2. He's made up 4 spots and has P2, but behind him is Newman. And Newman is about 0.4, 0.3 of a second. Takes all the runoff there that he needs and just keeps fighting. Now, a second behind him is Radecki. So hopefully he can keep away from any straights. And I seem to recall there's quite a few straights here at Imola. He will be in trouble. Behind them is a battle for 5th and 6th between Cahello and Vila. So that will be one to watch as they come through the chicane right now. And actually there's a gaggle because behind Vila is Ottorola. and then Schuster behind them. So the middle of the field for the HPDs looking really competitive at the moment.
Oh, we've had there's been 2 HPDs going off. Andre Costello II going off at Ravazza 1, and then somebody else joined him at Ravazza 1. There's been 2 more HPDs.
Schuster went off with him, and actually he doesn't spin the car, keeps it straight. That's well good there by Schuster not to spin that car. So he will gain the position, but also lose a boatload of positions there. I think he was running in P6, I think it was, I was saying. So he's going to be losing some places there. But wow, that's you don't see that. I thought there was going to be some synchronized spinning there for a moment, but keeps it safe.
Keep it safe and steady on the road.
Salmon goes purple with a 127.5, but yet Yakubu also went faster with a 20. Yakubu had an off track. Sorry, so Salmon technically has the fastest lap, but it isn't the fastest lap because the 2 guys in front of him have gone faster, just that they had off tracks.
And as soon as the camera points at him, he blinks. But he is charging towards Nathan and Mess and Ishmael Yakubu as they come into Tamburello 1, going into 2, going into 3. Remember, you need to brake hard going down into second gear in the Audis, turn left, hug the left hand side, then swing right around towards Tamburello 2, then follow the road as you gradually ease on the throttle, then push out from Tamburello 3, use the outside apex as best you can, and get as much speed going towards Villeneuve.
Just keeping an eye at the moment, the LMP1s have started to hit the traffic right now. We see Yakubu. Where is he? I believe this is Aqui Mineral. It is. It's at Aqui Mineral right now as he's going up the hill. So he has gone through a couple of them, and it's, if I recall right, this is not the easiest of tracks for overtaking. When you've got 2 chicanes, 2 hard sweeping corners. There are straights, but if you get held up on those straights, right here, Yakubu can't make his decision. He wanted to stay on the inside, but could not get there. The GTEs won't let him, and they thought he'd be taking the other side. Does get by after touching and dicing with the grass. Now what's going to happen behind them? We see a Mess waits up there, losing a bit of time, but takes to the weight. Salmon as well decides to go to weight there, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, especially with Yakubu about now as he crosses the line. He's going to be heading down into Tombola. Tamburello, sorry, not Tombola. Tamburello. He doesn't meet them yet. Yeah, it's a Tombola. It's a Tombola. As he comes down, he'll take 1 GTE, and we'll have to wait till he goes through Villeneuve.
Ooh, as Nathan Ames, sorry to cut across you, Nathan Ames diving to the outside line, to the actual line at Villeneuve, try and keep Alex Salmon off his rear end and trying to prevent him from making a pass. Nathan Ames, by the way, got stuck behind 2 GTEs at Ravazza 2, and it's just brought Salmon back in the game for second place as they charge down towards Aqua Minerale 1 and 2. They keep meeting traffic, these 2.
Oh, Salmon's hit the curb, and he's bounced, and he's gone off straight there. He had nowhere to go, and he kept that up the wall. I think he just had a little bit of a bump. He loses 2 spots to that. Sorry, he's in P5 right now. Cannot overtake the GTEs. He's coming into Variante Alta, so he is now back on the back foot. Gerber is behind him, but he may get the better of the traffic right here. If he gets past the GTE of Ostov, he's got no traffic until he comes to Ravazza 1 and 2, and at the same time, Ruslan in front of him, Baramifkolov, has got some GTE traffic. So Salmon's lost a bit of time. But in the scheme of things, he's gotten a bit lucky with how his competitors have just hit traffic.
Salmon, he was there just for a second, and then
So we have a look at the HPD. Not much going on at the moment. Our best battle right now, Vila and Ottorola, half a second between them, as Vila's holding on to P5 right now. Both of them are also coming around to Variante Alta right now. It's looking like Ottorola gets the better line on that corner. It's going to be a slipstream battle, but I don't think he's got the time here to get to Ravazza. So he will keep the... But if he gets a good line at Ravazza, and he actually gets there so fast that he had to slow down, as Vila's a little bit slower. gets around Ravazza 2, because of that hold up there at 1, he isn't going to get a chance at Vila as they come down to the first corner. So unfortunate there for Vila, but does he set a faster time? Sets a faster time by 0.2 of a second compared to Vila, so he is on the warpath against Vila for this P5.
Well, ahead of him, there's also another battle between Linev and Newman II. I will go ahead and put the camera... Oh, the camera having a very good look at that fuel tank, or that fuselage of that number 7 car as they come up past Tosa, up towards Pertella. I think that's how you say it, Pertella? Piratella, sorry, Piratella.
Yes.
I've just said some insults. I'm sorry.
Our Italian isn't very good. To quote my Spanish, mi español is mi malo, which basically means I don't even know anything about Italian, basically. So I don't know what I don't speak Italian is, but in the chat.
You don't know how to speak Italian so much you have to say it in Spanish. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Basically, but I just said So we had in the chat, run Nathan, run. Nathan is doing a good job here, holding off his teammate Sam Blackwood. And at the same time, Baramivkolov as well, who is still under the battle here as Sam. And look at this. It's now 0.3.
Sorry, correction. Nathan is not Sam's teammate.
Oh, I got this wrong. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Who's correcting who now today?
For some reason, I thought it was Will. I thought it was Will Line all of a sudden. I don't know why. Something just told me it was Will. But behind them is the battle for 4th, which is Baramivkolov and Stammen. And Stammen's got hold up by the GTE there to come around Variante Alta. But now he's got the run. He's got a bit of stream. Would he go for the move on Ravaz? No, not at 1. He won't do it at 2. But he's used a lot of boost. Has he got anything left in the tank for the start-finish straight? As Yakubu goes purple again for 26.9. No, Baramivkolov just goes sayonara and just takes half a second ahead of Stammen there with that boosting. So maybe Stammen being a little bit too aggressive with the boosting is not really in it now. So I'm not sure what's happened there. Stammen using a different boost strategy?
He may be using a different boost strategy. I mean, the amount of boost that Baramivkolov used on that straight was something else, because they were using boost. The both of them were using boost coming out of Ravazza 2, but Baramivkolov just kept his finger on the boost button, and he wanted more boost. You know, I cannot hold a captain. I do not have the power. He definitely had the power, and he just kept boosting. But Blackwood is way ahead of him, not giving him any slipstream, whereas with Salmon, he's right behind him and has got some slipstream, so he can just sit pretty, saving fuel and just waiting and biding his time. He's looking on the you'd call it it's not the driver's side, because the Audis are right-hand drive, the correct way to drive a car, and he's just looking for an opportunity to be able to pass Baramkulov. I think that's how you say it, Baramkulov. But nothing is presenting itself yet, because he's making up time on the inroads. He's making up time towards the technical side of the track. But Baramkulov is just boosting away on the straight, especially down just past Barry and Bassa, down the start-finish straight. He's just boosting too hard. He's just not. He's a machine with that button.
He really does have a great strategy, and to be fair, with the amount of straights there are, that Variante Basta is the longest straight, so it makes sense to hold off and use as much boost as you can. In a non-boost battle, let's just go back to the GTEs. We mentioned this battle earlier in the race. Vesperelli and Augusto put 2 of a second gap between the two of them. They've been battling hard for the last lap as they come down now to Tamburello. And it's still Viscerelli in the lead. He etches ahead a little bit when Augusto has to just take his time around the corners not to go into the back of Viscerelli. But as they come now down to Villeneuve, and Villeneuve will come into Tosa shortly, he does get closer. Now you finish a corner and then you're straight to the next one, so you don't have a chance to do it. So he'll come out of Tosa. He is still on the back of Viscerelli as Augusto. But 2 of a second is still the gap. they will come to Parietta, and he's not going to move here because look how sharp this corner is with the exit so wide. Just keeps on going right now. So they're going to be hitting into Aqua Mineral 1 and Aqua Mineral 2. Again, nowhere to go. He just has to wait his moment here. This is really good driving. This is really tough behind in dirty air, especially when you've got the prancing horse. It's a 0.1 of a second lead right now. He will swing to the outside as they come to Variante Alta. That is going to compromise his exit and really makes a good job there as this Veri goes a bit wide. They will come down to Rivazza. Augusto still has a chance, but I think he's just put himself a little bit too far behind to make a move right now.
Coming down to Rivazza 1 and 2. Important to note that the number 3 of Jorge Augusto, he was right on the rear of Claudio Vesperali coming into Variante Alta. You know, he was just hugging the rear end, hoping that he'd be able to get a chance going on the inside, but the Ferrari just sort of went, no, 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 that's mine. No, no, no. You didn't say the magic word. As they come down towards Tamburello 1, 2, and 3. This, I feel like Augusto just is glued to the back of Vesperali.
And you know, that actually might not be a good thing. Vesperali goes a little bit slidey there. Might set up Augusto. They almost touch. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, they go on the inside.
Touches and spins him. Augusto, I think that was a little bit ambitious there. As now Vesperali is going down the order. Gets back on now. He's going to be P8. Going to be P8 there. And I think there's an apology. No, that's not an apology from Augusto. And I'm not sure that was Saturino there who may have come in contact there. But Augusto with a really aggressive move there. But I think he just had enough and wanted to get it done.
Vesperelli almost came in front of a car that was passing by him at Tosa. Very good awareness by the guys behind him. So by the guys such as Satino and Ropak, who very quickly dodged out of the way of a car. Definitely got the call very quickly by their spotters. You know, slow car ahead, go raw. You know. I just try and plug the spotter impersonation every time I can. I'm sorry. But
is that Yakubu hitting the... Ooh. Oh, there's a gaggle. Sorry. I'm here watching a battle in the HPDs, and they're going around the GTEs, and at the same time, here comes Yakubu, here comes the mess, and they're coming around Variante Alta before the
he's going on the
Variante
grass on the outside. It was through wide between a GTE, Yakubu, and a P2 as they come out of Aqua Minerale 2. My God, that was very close. Yakubu swallowing some brave pills as he could pass his fast and by on the grass. He definitely does not want Nathan the Mess on his rear wing. That is absolutely for sure.
Yakubu basically taking pages out of Rick Jonk's playbook, because that is a Rick Jonk move I've ever seen, it hitting the grass and hoping for the best. At the same time though, he must have lost time. Yeah, he lost almost over half a second that lap compared to a mess. So he must have got held up by the traffic. But here's the thing, is the HPDs are now meeting the GTEs, but they're meeting at the same time the LMP1s are coming round for the second round of the GTE traffic. So it is quite a gaggle at the moment. And really, you've got to follow the pecking order. And it is hard to follow the pecking order when every corner is so intertwined with the corner before. So it's going to be hard for these guys. In fact, it looks like the mess has also just got held up by LMP1. Yep, coming out of Aqua Mineral. So he gets held up there. Coming down to the straightaway, just this little straightaway right here to Variante Alta. He will slow down again. GT in front of him. And now he has to get by. He lost a little bit of time, but still going. But this by Yakubu is, I wouldn't say it's suicidal, it's bravery. There is no suicide in this. As we see Linear going in a slow Ostov around there, and Yakubu will follow it up as well. So it's all happening right now. This is the joy of traffic in ILMS.
Are you taking the leap for the joy of painting? Are you taking the leap out of Bob Ross's book?
We're just having a little bit of happy clouds right now. That's all I'm saying. Salmon, again. Look at this. Watching Salmon and Baramikkolov again. And it's again, Salmon is so close to him. And then Ruslan goes, see ya, and hit that boost. What is exactly going on with these guys' boost strategies? It's really interesting to see. Just to see the difference. And because of what Ruslan has done there, he put an HPD in between the two of them. So he is actually making up time because that's great traffic moves by him. It's not a pinch, because a pinch is when you use a slow car to deliberately stop a guy. It's bookmarking. I don't know, call it bookmarking. He's bookmarking the traffic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, because you're putting yourself in between two pages, and in this case, it's between two cars. But the I was going to make a snide comment about the number 11's livery, the HPD. It's a classic Williams livery, and I was about to say it's the only classic Williams you'll ever see in the iRacing services, and it's a Honda.
Oh!
And as I say that, millions of Williams fans around the world are about to murder me.
He's fucking into the outer and keeps it. My Autorola. That's a good save. And then holds the inside. Minlek is now.
I think we've lost him.
It's me.
Oh, there we go. You disappeared for a second, then you came back. Also, your microphone peaked again.
No, I've actually got an internet issue. That's interesting.
Fair enough. We will keep going then. I think that was Nathan LeMans. Nathan LeMans going wide coming out of Tamburello 3 as Jacobu dicing with traffic, making sure that he is not caught anywhere near the slipstream of Nathan LeMans. Nathan LeMans pushing hard. He did a 129.233, faster than Jacobu by only 0.06 of a second, but those out up overlaps, and he's in the slipstream on the inroads as Jacobu passes.
Sorry, Mills in the pits. I thought he had damage. It's just a normal pit stop. I do apologise. A mess though is battling, and he's making time on Jacobu. This is really interesting to see. These are the two teammates, aren't they? These are the two teammates.
Yeah, you finally got it right. Yeah. Touch wood, because we don't want to curse anybody. Also, by the way, there's the old pit stop. Is that a bus stop that's at the just after Alta chicane as they come down?
Yes.
I got something right finally. These two are battling for the lead. Car number 5 of Ishmael Jacobu battling the car number 10 of Nathan LeMans, who's definitely not letting up whatsoever. He's definitely pushing. The two of them are pushing. I mean, it's all about that first place at Imola, especially after Imola being out for, as you said, a year in the LMS series. It's good to see it back, but there's definitely been some shenanigans going on track, but you know, it's all been safe, clean racing for the most part as they come up towards Piratella, just behind Ferrari. Ooh, a bit close there, Jacobu. Just a bit of Nathan LeMans looking on the passenger side of the car number 5 as they come up through Acqua Minerale 1 and 2 without many issues up towards Alta. Making a break at the you make a break at either the 75 or 50 meter mark if you're brave, or if you're not, if you're sensible about your boost, you break at the 100 as they come down towards Rivazza 1 and 2. Both of them are pretty much matching each other for lap times at the moment in terms of raw pace. It's just that Ishmael is meeting the traffic in a little bit less favorable terms compared to LeMans, who's able to meet traffic on his own terms in relative comparison into Tamburello 1, 2, 3. Nathan takes a quite wider line coming out of Tamburello 3 compared to Jacobu. I've been noticing that quite a lot at the moment. They honestly seem to be, you know, slightly different strategies when it's taking corners, but lap times are kind of still the same. So it's very interesting to see that. Let's see. I think Nathan sort of followed the line that Jacobu was making through Piratella. No issues through Acqua Minerale 1, 2, and coming up towards some more traffic now. A sad day for A sad day for Imola as a poor Ferrari is a bit battered. But still racing fine. Seemingly no issues. Still coming up towards traffic as they come down towards Rivazza 1 and 2. Not really much going on here, so we will see what else is going on in the field.
Let's have a quick look at the field. Liniev and Newman are back again. They had a split, and now they're reunited. It's like the reuniting of Oasis, but this time it actually stayed together. Liniev, he was in the lead by about a second and a half a few laps ago, but when Newman responds with a 34 flat, taking half a second out of Liniev, then it puts Liniev back on the back foot again. So we're back into this situation again. They come past, they come around Rivazza 1 and 2. Onto the straight they go right now. Di Variante Bazza going to keep going. Thank you very much for Sarari. It keeps going down the Bassa, down to the first corner. There is slipstream here for Newman. Liniev takes the inside to can't go anywhere at Tamburello. So it goes through the chicane. Who gets the better line of it? Well, Newman's going to get the better line because he was on the right line. But again, here we go. Liniev try and take the defensive. In fact, Newman doesn't attempt it. Newman doesn't attempt it through Villeneuve. And actually, is that Liniev a little bit slidey? There is, but there's not enough time as they come around Tosa. And wide goes Newman, but he's going to do that over-under. Doesn't help him here, so he had a chance, I think. He had a chance going up to Peretta, but he isn't able to make it work because of that exit. And let's just see how wide he goes. These guys don't go wide. I would have thought they would have gone quite wider. There's still Newman pushing and pushing as they come from Wacken Mineral. Still going up, a little bit of sliding by both. And then when they come to Varianta, I wanted to say, how horrible must this chicane be for these HPDs and LMP1s? Because look how much curb they've got to take. You're practically almost going off-road on a car that's practically level to the floor. So it's really hard for these cars to make that corner because it does not feel natural to do that.
One wrong move and you will, as they say, eat shit. Essentially, that's what...
Whoa!
I mean, that is what the driver says, so...
There we go. That's it. iRacing's never going to ask us to commentate.
By the way, guys, if you want to see us do... or try and go for broke and broadcast on iRacing Live, let us know. Let us know how we're doing, you know? We appreciate all the feedback. As they come towards Tableau 3, exit just fine because they had... there's a little bit of push and go as I think that was the HPD of Holweck that just came out of the pits.
Yes, it was a very slow one coming out the pits. I'm surprised at that. How's the GTEs doing? We just have a quick look at the GTEs. Well, Thompson is 17 seconds ahead of everybody. Okay. Is that actually true? It is. And none of them's pitted. Okay, let's go back to the LMP HPDs.
No, we're not going back. We're not going back to the LMP2s. They've been blue enough. It is now time for green, and that green is GTE class. And the battle between Jorge Augusto and Ian Jones, the fifth, as they come through Piratella. They are just within half a second of each other, and they've got traffic around them. By the way, I was saying Holweck was slow coming out of the pits. She had about 20 extra seconds in the pit stall compared to the car number 39, Remy La Laurent.
Oh, Jones just had to lose a lot of time to Augusto. There, you see that, and there was two HPDs in front. Let's get an eye on these two HPDs. They're battling and they almost collide. They do collide. Coelho and Gonzalez, they collide, both of them fighting, and you've got to say Coelho might have been a little bit aggressive there as he wanted to make sure he didn't lose any time by getting caught, by almost being bookends, like we were talking about earlier there. But he does, by the looks of it, take out Gonzalez, and Gonzalez just overshot the corner. So Coelho will take P10, or keep P10 as he lost it at the start of the lap, but questionable, I must admit there. But behind him is Connor Pearson in the LMP1s, doing his usual early pit stop for the undercut, and I think it might work this time. I just want to say the LMP1s are looking at 41 laps around here, and that is a long time for an hour-long race, and that is mental fortitude. Right?
It's a long time for a 1 hour race.
You know what I mean? You try keeping your concentration for 40 laps in an hour. It's not like Le Mans where you're doing 12 laps an hour. It's not like Silverstone where you're only looking at about 20 laps. You're doing almost double what you're doing at a modern day grade 1 track like Silverstone. It really does take its toll because you've got to be perfect for 41 times, or on the HPD's 39, or in the GTE's 37. The same idea. You've got to be so on it all the time. It's almost like in Brazil. I can't remember the name right now. It's gone out of my head, but it does remind me of Brazil.
You mean?
You've forgotten it now as well. It's just gone out of my head.
I forgot it as well.
Wow, I can't believe that.
So the current pace of the leaders, Nunu in the YouTube chat asks what the leader's pace is looking like. So in LMP1s, the leader of that class currently is Ismail Yakubu. He is currently running a 1:28.696. Daniel Kraft is leading the LMP2 class with a last lap of 1:34.979, though he wasn't the fastest car on the track by any means. The fastest car on the track at the moment for LMP2 is Newman with a 1:33.961.
Want to look at that again? The fastest HPD is actually car number 4, Melnick, with a 1:33.560.
Okay. Look. It updated as I was reading. That's the only excuse I have. And in the GTEs, I think the fastest last lap was Josh Thompson, the current leader, with a 1:43.88. And by the way, it's Interlagos, so he's helping us out in both ways.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, thank you. I cannot believe I forgot that. Let's just let's go back to the GTEs because it's really interesting to see. I don't think we've seen dominance like this. Touch wood, I don't think we've seen dominance like this with 28 minutes left, like Josh Thompson has. He is 20 seconds ahead of P2. We're halfway, and the guy is 20 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. I mean, very shortly, actually no, not very shortly, he already is lapping the GTEs halfway through the race. That is how dominant this car is right now. I mean, that is just a sign of he is part of Williams Esports for a reason, because he's one of the best.
And he also did a 1:40.749 last lap. So he's consistently faster than anyone else in the GTE field at the moment. Is this man on your screens, Josh Thompson, in the number one for first place GTE, and he's coming through. He's now 21.5 seconds ahead of everybody else. Luxac is, I'd say he is just coming through Aqua Minerale at the moment, while Thompson is at Variant Alta, and it's just
I mean, have we ever seen anything like this? I mean, let's be fair though. GT cars, especially for iRacing, GT cars love racing at Imola. The VRS series for GT3s. I think IMS has come here a few times. It's a very favourable track for these GT cars. I think mainly due to the size of the track. It doesn't bode well for this type of multi-class racing, as he goes for another overtake on a lap car. He's only 9 seconds behind the last place HPD, which is Maria Holweck. Granted, Holweck has actually pitted, so that's no surprise he's that close. But if you're an HPD this far through the race and you've got a GTE still in touching distance with you, as we see Connor Pearson's gone off. Connor Pearson has gone off. What has happened here to the car? Has he actually just... Oh, he had nowhere to go. He had nowhere to go. Following the inside of a GTE, that was Osthoff. But in front of him was Miguel Vila. Miguel Vila, for some reason, goes on the outside. Pearson decides to go on the outside. and just was not ready for Vila to hit the brake so hard and just dives right into the back of him. And I think that's quite a bit of that's quite a bit of damage to the front of Pearson's car.
Oh, and as you can see in the cockpit, it's just like dead. By the way, we do have a retirement in the... Oh, he's hit the wall. We do have a retirement in LMP1. Josh Mills has parked the car. He parked the car 9 laps ago. He
parked the car closest stream and decided to raid us, and thank you very much. You can still hear Josh from the raid.
He did raid us?
He raided us.
Oh, God. I was wondering why there were so many people watching the stream. I was like, hang on a minute.
I want to say thank you for those staying around. I think we had 40 at one stage. Thank you very much for staying around.
Oh no! And Nathan Miss had an accident going into the pits.
What on earth? Oh, what's that? Let's keep it. No. He's just gone too hard. He's just gone too fast into it. And is he going to Austin Powers? He's going to reverse. But the side of that car is bent.
Let's have a look as he dives into... Oh, brake. Oh, and he loses it. He lost it under braking. Oh, no. That is extremely unlucky. Nathan MS not having the best of luck at all. He's definitely... Nathan MS in the pits slams the brakes and...
in front of the lead LMP1 as Yakubu just had to avoid Denea. Can I just say, because somebody clipped that with a mess. I'm sorry, Nathan, but Yakubu just had to do some avoidance here, and so did Pearson, as Denea had a spin as they were going around, looked like Aqua Minerale too. And, no, that was Alta, sorry, Radiante Alta. And the GTE, before he even got to the corner, just spun. And he was lucky he went off into the grass because there were fast cars coming up behind him, and that could have been nasty, and that could have been another of the leaders out just like that by no fault of their own. But with a Mess's accident goes into Blackwood's gain as he takes P2, as it looks like all the HPDs at the moment are going for pit stops. Newman's the only one yet to pit in the top half of the field, so he will take the provisional lead, but will lose it of course once he pits. I believe the GTEs, they're not pitting yet, not that I can see.
They'd be pitting in the next lap or two.
22.6 seconds is now the lead for Josh Thompson. How many more cars will he lap? That is the question I want to know.
Too many. As you can see on your screens, guys, this is the top 7 of each of the classes. First being Yakubu in LMP1, Newman in LMP2, and Josh Thompson in LMP3. Josh Thompson, by the way, he's just running away with it at the moment. He's just about as far ahead as he can be, ahead of everybody else in his class. That's not down to any incidents of traffic. It's just pure pace that he has on the track. I think he did... Was he fastest the last lap?
Doesn't matter. No, he wasn't. But he's not getting fast laps, but he's consistent. You don't just get 22 seconds ahead of everybody just by luck. Let's just be realistic. There's not many battles going on at the moment in the GTEs. Our closest was Visparelli and Bristos, but that has expanded for Visparelli just over a second now. Nathan MS has retired the car. So that's unlucky there for a mess. I hope someone did clip that. I know that sounds horrible.
3 dots in the YouTube chat sums up his mood right now.
Oh, Nathan. I am so sorry. I will say, at least you didn't Austin Powers it. Let's just be real for a moment. I was expecting an... Yeah. It is, but just remember, Nathan, this is still an old track, and it's a very narrow track, so it's an old school pit lane. Just be thankful we don't have the 2008 version where there was a chicane. No, the old version back in the 90s. Sorry, where there was a chicane in the pit lane. It's a weird. The whole straight is so weird. Imola, I've got to be honest. I wouldn't have put start-finish line there. I could think of many more better places. And having a chicane at the start of a race, who came up with that idea?
Well,
Mess is keeping his own stats here. Mess is keeping his own stats. A 66.6% crash rate on broadcast races. And we didn't even give you the commentator's curse. Not today. There was no curse today, was there? You're just checking, aren't you? I didn't curse him.
sorry, yeah, I'm just checking to see that you cursed him. You didn't. But, I mean, like, the fact that the Audi lost... the fact that the Audi lost control when he was at, like, 50 miles an hour was kind of hilarious.
So the leaders have pitted, all but Baramiklos. We're talking about the LMP1s right now. The leaders have pitted, so it's no surprise that it's Yakubu, Blackwood, and Salmon will be provisional 1, 2, 3 once Ruslan takes a pit stop. He's just out there on his own right now, making his way downtown. Just taking it relaxing. I'm expecting the pit next lap. That's good fuel saving there, to be fair. 19 minutes remaining. It is still are we still waiting for the GTE to pit? Some of them have pitted at the back, but they've got, what, one more lap, did you say?
Probably one lap, maybe.
Okay, one lap, so that's not too bad. So 1 or 2 laps remaining for the GTEs. Once that happened, everybody will have pitted. Ruslan does come into the pits now and takes his pit stop, so that will bring the LMP1s back to parity with Will Lyon. What's happened to... Okay, nothing serious. No crashes. You hear an audio of someone saying sorry and you think, hang on, what's happened? Thankfully, nothing yet, touch wood.
I love how you just say touch wood every time, just to be sure that you haven't cursed anybody.
I've cursed enough people. I'm just watching this battle in the HPDs right now. Newman and Liniev are still together. They're together forever and ever, and I can't remember the words of that Ricardo song. They are still going on. 0.3 of a gap is the 0.3 of a second is the gap right now. They have finished their pit stops right now. Liniev again has to go on the defense as Newman's got a run going down into the first chicane. Can't make it because the Liniev just putting his car in a place that made Newman have nowhere to go. They've got Josh Thompson in front of them. They're going to have to be careful. Now Liniev will get by. What about Newman? Newman does not get by as they come around Villeneuve. That's big for Liniev right here if Newman's getting held up. And actually that may mean Newman gets held up going through Tossa. No! Drifts the back. The back just goes there and he's going to lose a lot more time. Almost bringing Radecki into the mix right now, but he will have to fight again to get to Liniev. But you mentioned earlier how this means that the traffic, in theory, shouldn't play against him because it means Liniev will get held up before he does. So that will work in his favour if they hit more traffic.
And Thompson making his thoughts known on what he thought about that move. He was he was not a happy camper, let's just put it that way. Flashing his lights and making sure that Newman knew he did an oops.
He did an oops. I think he was just pushing it too hard, especially when you get held up. But we mentioned earlier, just got to stress it again, that corner combination. If you don't get a run out of Villeneuve, you've got no chance making a run into Tosa. As we see the GTE starting to make some pits moves here. Yep, Thompson in the pits right now. The leader of the GTEs in the pits. Only 3 cars now for the GTEs at the front of the field have not pitted. Lucas, Augusto and Visparelli. Visparelli is in P4. Don't think he'll keep that when they go through the pits though. But that would be great if he could recover back to a top 5 after everything that happened at the start of the race.
P2
no,
also comes into the pits.
Wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah. Rapage from Visparelli, but yeah, no, Visparelli was spun. So yeah, no, that's right. Rapage did go a bit aggressive, but anyway, in theory, he will hit the pits now. He does hit the pits in the AF Corsa livery. It's a nice livery, as much as I hate red on the Ferrari.
Why would you hate? Why would
It's
you?
boring.
Why?
It's boring. I've seen too much red on Ferraris. I want to see something different. You go to IMSA, you see the WeatherTech Ferraris, and it looks beautiful. Why? Because it's white. It's different. Give me a Ferrari livery that's not red.
Any Italians in the chat? I'm not responsible for what K King says on the
They know the better color for a Ferrari is yellow. Is yellow.
It's
okay?
yellow. Is yellow.
It's yellow. It's yellow.
By the way, you just insulted Nathan. He's Italian, so best start running once we get out of this booth.
Wow. Yeah. So if anybody wants to take my position, feel free. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
All you hear is just beep, as just like the microphone gets cut unexpectedly as Will Lyons comes by. Maciek Milnek. Ooh, Will Lyons going slow through Tamburello 1, holding up Miguel Villa as he's now battling to keep Maciek behind him. Coming through Villeneuve. No moves being made by Maciek at the moment. Sitting behind him, sitting pretty behind Miguel, probably biding his time and making a move probably on the straight, probably on the start-finish line straight. Coming up towards CTE traffic, passing Piratella. No drama there at all. The Ford letting the
in front of them though. There's drama in front of them. Is that Visparelli?
It is.
That's Visparelli. What has happened there? He has been turned by the HPD of Radecki just as they're coming into Aqua Minerale. He gets turned by the GTE, and then is that Bristow having to avoid it? Bristow avoids everybody just in the panic by the looks of it. Yeah. So interesting then. Do they come together? They do not. And as Visparelli's flashing his lights, he flashes at the wrong person.
Well, I think he's just flashing it out of frustration at that point, but that HPD definitely not making the right move, diving to the inside really when there's a battle going on, especially between the two cars of Bristow and Visparelli. Visparelli once again having an issue.
Not his race, is it?
Yeah, it's not been the race for the Ferrari in A, of course.
I know why. You know why? Because he's got a red Ferrari.
See now, we can't take you out anywhere where there's a Ferrari unless... See, there's two red Ferraris on the broadcast monitors right now. There's one in front of them.
I don't mind red Ferraris in real life. But when you come to iRacing and everybody drives a red Ferrari, it's like, come on, let's be creative. This is boring. You can get your paints out and make something that isn't red. It's like, I drive a Monster Energy black and silver Ferrari in iRacing. Because it's different. It looks nice because it's not the boring red that everywhere I see when I'm in iRacing. That's my gripe.
I mean, the fact that you said Monster Energy.
Oh no, it's Red Bull, not Monster Energy. It's Red Bull. I would never have.
Okay, that's even worse.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, I will. Yeah, I'm out of this job, aren't I? I'm out of this job.
Is your name is your name actually Kyle?
No.
Are you sure?
Is there a reason for this? Have I missed something?
Erwin asks that question because I said Monster Livery Energy, or Monster Energy Livery. Sorry.
All right, let's get back to the racing because there's something really interesting happening. I mean, really interesting because Daniel Kraft has a half a second lead on Dmitry Liniev in the HPD, and then a second behind Liniev is Newman. All of a sudden, I'm not sure what's happened to Kraft. He must have had actually, I'm not sure what happened to Kraft because he was on time the last lap, so something must have happened. Yep, he had a 140 the lap before, so that could be the reason. But half a second gap now between Liniev and Newman. As they come around the P3, car number 3, Jorge Augusto. He does bookend there with Liniev now having to be stopped at Aqua Minerale there. And that could be Kraft's get out here. Because somehow this race looked like it was wrapped up for Kraft. I thought it was, to be fair. He had quite quite a lead, and now Lineas just pulled it back in. And hang on, Lineas gone off. Oh no! I've done it again. I've done it again. What has happened here to Lineas? He comes around Variante Alta, loses the car a bit, has to slow down, and the GTE of Augusto has nowhere to go but into the back of him. We have seen that so many times today around these chicanes at Imola. Has he lost a lot of places, Lineas? Well, yeah. He's at the back of the field almost. He's in P7. That gives Radecki P3. And he is now battling. He's now got Maciej Milnek behind him, half a second behind him. So there's a battle for P3 now, but it's not the two we thought it would be. It's not Newman and Lineas. It's Radecki and Milnek.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You still haven't answered the question about the Monster Energy livery.
My name is not Kyle. Deal with it.
They compared it to putting a Toyota livery on a Porsche.
Oh no!
Which, by the way, if you do that, that's illegal and you should be arrested.
It's just a sin habit. I mentioned it in our broadcast on Wednesday night. RSR World Sport. We are broadcasting every Wednesday night. I mentioned how it is you cannot have a livery of a car or a sponsor that was never driven on that car. You cannot have a Golf livery on something like a Ferrari because the Golf livery should be on something like a Porsche. So basically a Toyota livery on a Porsche. No, I'm sorry, you're banned.
A Ford livery on a Porsche.
Toyota livery on a Porsche, didn't I?
No,
Ford paint on a Porsche. Yeah, sorry, I'm reading the chat now. Sorry.
Rotards comes in with the ultimate curse. Remember when we broadcasted that? Remember that?
I don't want to remember. Mind you, if you would like to watch it, feel free to go to our YouTube channel where there is vault of every race we have done this season and last season. So you can watch back all of this stuff and the crimes committed by some people with liveries, including Weeb liveries, really weird sponsorship liveries, all chrome cars, team liveries that actually look good, and basically then just people just taking something from trading paints.
Oh no, he was comparing it, by the way, he was comparing it that having a Red Bull on a Ferrari is the equivalent of having a Toyota livery on a Porsche. That's what he wanted to compare it to.
I don't think so.
That level of curse.
I mean, at the same time, Monster Energy would go on a Ferrari because of Valentino Rossi. So I should have really stuck with Monster. But okay. Let's get back to the racing.
We are back with the racing of Radecki II versus Miguel Villa as they come into Acrometa Rally 1 and 2. Are we talking about OCM here, except for the part where they said a good livery?
There's a good Ferrari there, car 8. There's a good Ferrari. Black with some green accent. That's a good Ferrari skin on iRacing. Lucas, the car P2 in the GTE. That's a livery from a Ferrari I would love to, that I would be proud to race if I ever raced it. But it's a team livery, so that's why. But you get the idea. Vila, half a second behind Radecki. This is the P4 between these two. At the same time, we need to keep an eye on the battle right here for P2 in the LMP1 between Blackwood and Salmon. In that order, as they come around Variante Alta, there is 6 minutes left on the race. There are 6 laps, yes, remaining for these guys. As Salmon will have to go for the move now. This is not like earlier with Baramivkolov, who basically just boosted his way up the straight. What will happen between Blackwood and Salmon? And actually, it looks like they're matching boost strategy. Just a little bit. Blackwood may have got a bit of a lead here. But now the slipstream, it looks like Salmon worked out that boost, got a bit more speed, will come down to the first chicane, won't get a move. There is a gaggle of 2 GTEs in front of them. That is Jones and Rapolch. So will they get through them? They'll get by 1. They both won't get by the second unless Blackwood is suicidal. He is not, but takes a really aggressive line through Villeneuve, and it pays off. It pays off. Rapolch goes wide and will take the inside line for these 2 LMP1s. Blackwood extends his lead by 0.2 of a second. Oh no, there's an HPD and a GT in front of them. Thankfully they get back into single file racing. That could have been a bit dangerous had they reached him a bit earlier. But they're still going around right now. Blackwood and Salmon, half a second is the gap, and now a GTE bookmarks them.
Not for long though. Coming out of Aqua Minerale 2, Salmon makes the move and keeps on the rear end of Blackwood as they come through Alta chicane. Now, will Blackwood hold on long enough to secure second place, or will Salmon try and make a move within these last few laps? They've only got about 3 laps left in and around that, given the current lap pace set by Yakubu, who did a 1:27.312 last lap. That's 1.5 seconds faster than both Blackwood and Salmon.
And at the same time, Blackwood did a 28.8 and Salmon did a 29.2. So he is behind the 8 ball. He needs to catch up right here. But because of that gap, Blackwood gets a GTE in front of them as he hits down to Villeneuve. That's the number 3 car of Augusto. He does get by finally, Salmon, but look at this. Because of the way you've got to exit Villeneuve, you almost have to go around Tosa to get there. Still not making time at the moment. I think he may have lost it there because of the traffic. So that will not pay him there. HPD, traffic in front, that holds up Blackwood. Why go Salmon there? Just holds it there. I didn't realise there was a bit more tarmac there. I thought it was all asphalt, gravel at the end of that. Does make some time, but Aqua Minerale not kind to him again. Lap traffic is not helping him.
No, I think Blackwood's just catching it and then bookmarking the lap traffic as he passes them. He's getting them at a very, very convenient times and very not opportunistic. That's not the word, but very beneficial times, especially during the corners, especially during the slow stuff. Aqua Minerale being prime example, where it's 2 corners, you can't really pass from 1 to 2. You have to sit behind the car for, well, essentially 2 corners, which does take about half a second away if you're not careful. So you need to be past them as soon as you come out of Aqua Minerale 2, going up the hill. Be careful of the kink on the outside as they come towards the, I'd say, the second last lap. Blackwood going wide, coming out of Villeneuve, going towards Tosa, sorry, not Tulsa. Salmon hanging onto the rear spoiler of Blackwood, making it known that he is absolutely not in the clear. Salmon is not giving an inch to Blackwood as much as he can. Blackwood trying to bookmark the Williams livery LMP2. Salmon kind of got away with that because the Williams LMP2 basically kept to the outside line, letting Salmon by. Blackwood he's not going to be able to get traffic coming through Ravazza 1 and 2. He'll be sitting behind the HPD in front of you, and I think that is the car 25, Miguel, I think? No, it might not be Miguel.
Miguel Vila is number 25, Miguel Vila, and number 9, Dmitry Liniev, who are 5th and 6th at the moment as they come down the straight. I need to keep an update. We've been watching this battle for a couple laps. Just so you an update, and Salmon makes a little bit of a wiggle there, trying to force the issue and make Blackwood think. And that looks like that's Lloyd who's gone off there after an incident there. We'll look at that later. The HPDs, just to keep you up to date. Newman is now in the lead. Kraft had an incident there. I'm not sure what happened to Kraft, but Newman is in the lead from Milnek, and Kraft is now been to P3. There's a second gap between Newman and Milnek. So great recovery there from Newman to get back to the lead. In the GTE, there's one battle going on right now, which I think has gone off there because Rapoch is in the pits after some damage, or is that a stop and go, or has he just not fueled enough? Might even be it looks like it's not enough fuel there. So that battle's over there for the GTE. We're going to be keeping our eyes on Salmon and Blackwood, and then the lead of the HPDs as we come to 1 minute left in the race. There will be one more lap left once Yakubu comes around Ravazza Uno and Ravazza Dos, and I know that's Spanish, I apologize. He will come around here, he will see the white flag, so we will be starting the final lap.
Weeb livery went from 7 out of 10 to 4 out of 10. Oh, the casual roast from Erwin. we appreciate you guys chatting, by the way. I appreciate all the views. Give us a follow on Twitter. SK is my handle. Scuddy Equal is Craig's. You can also follow us on YouTube and on Twitter, or Twitch, sorry. Twitch, if you're currently watching on that, is the current channel. And, ooh, Yakubu just kicking the tail out coming out of Villeneuve. Actually, that's another thing as well. You call, is it Villeneuve or Villeneuve? Do you have to say it in a French way, or do you have to say it in an English way?
I'm not sure, and also I really need to ask Nathan and Mess, as he will know. Why is there a corner called Villeneuve? Or Imola? I don't understand the connection.
Oh, you're gonna have to Google it.
Yeah, I'll have to Google it.
I know the reason behind it, but I won't say it on stream.
Okay, Yakubu right now coming up to Viridianta Alta. What's happened to Salmon and Blackwood? Well, as I do that, Salmon blinks, so I have no idea. There's an accident in front of them, and it holds them up.
Oh,
There's contact
no!
between Salmon and Blackwood. They neck hit together, and Salmon goes flying. He goes back onto the track. This is not safe. He does keep it, but now Blackwood he blocked him. It's blocked him in a hit. That must be. I'm not sure what happened there. He had put a block onto Blackwood there in frustration. He will continue to P3. He did serve a slowdown. I'm not sure. Yakubu will take the lead. Newman and Milnek will be your P2 and your P1 and 2 there, as well as Crofty, your HPDs. This is the battle we're watching it right now. Blackwood will take P3, and we see and Salmon takes P2. I'm not sure if you call it controversial. It looks more of a racing incident with a bit of frustration boiling over. Call it how I see it. I'm not going to say there's any fault there at the original incident, but that's the finish there for the LMP1s and the HPDs, as these two are still going at it. What's happening for the GTE? Well, Josh Thompson has taken the win. Of course he has. 29 seconds. So we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait to see P2 Lucas finally getting to the line, and then 6 seconds behind him is Jorge Augusto. What is the final gap? The final gap is 30.6 seconds. 30.6 seconds. 8 GTE cars were on the same lap. 7, sorry, were on the same lap as Josh Thompson. That's how many cars he lapped.
Let's. That was definitely Neko, because Salmon blinked. And he blinked hard, and then popped out, and then Blackwood only gets a call when he's inside him. Oh, that is an unfortunate way to end the race, though. That is a very unfortunate way.
It's and you can see that Blackwood is blinking, and so Salmon, there's a GT there which is also as well. So he's blinking. He goes around to the outside, and then Blackwood's not aware of it because of the blinking, and by the time he does that, they touch. And then cause a spin, and I'm not really sure what to make of Salmon's move at the end there, but we are commentators. We're not going to make any accusations, but it just looks like a bit of heat boiling off there, I must admit. But it's a shame the LMP1 race finishes like it does.
Taking a minute to sort of breathe after that last one. I was not expecting that at all, and well, I obviously think that Sam Blackwood wasn't expecting it either. But why don't we go over the results then of the race, shall we? Starting with LMP1.
Yep, LMP1, Ismail Yakubu takes his second broadcast win of the season in the LMP1. 13 seconds behind him is Alex Salmon, with Sam Blackwood just behind him as well. Alex Gerber will take P4, with Alexander Djako taking a P5. A very quiet race there. Didn't see a lot of Djako there. Will Lyon recovers to a P6. Ruslan Banamikov takes P7. Connor Pearson takes P8. And Nathan and Mess, we saw the accident in the pit lane, finishes P9 for the class, 17 laps down. And Josh Mills parked it early, 28 laps down in P10 for the LMP1 class.
And for LMP2, it is Newman that takes the win there. Definitely a well-fought win. Mlynek was very close behind, only 0.3 of a second behind him in P2. Crafton P3, 4 seconds down the road. Radecki is 9 seconds down the road, just being caught by Vila in the last moments of the race, who was only half a second behind him. Lenev is a very big gap. He was quite far behind. He was 21 seconds behind the leader, Newman. Sorry, excuse me. I have to catch my breath because I've just eaten ice cream. Otorola is 22 seconds down the road, just a second behind Lenev. Mayers 35 seconds. He was the winner of last season. By the way, I have to hand out those prizes. I'll be doing it after this broadcast. Mayers 35 seconds down the road, and the rest of the field is kind of scattered in between pairs of ones and twos. Gonzalez was 59 seconds down the road from the leader, who was very closely followed by Le Lorraine, who was 59.927 seconds down the road. And then finishing off, Holweck, who had the extended repair for damage, I think. She finished 1 minute and 11 seconds down the road. Schuster 121 seconds down the road, and Kolho was a lap down but did finish the race.
Yep, not to mention Drew Lloyd as well, finished 6 laps down into P14. Into the GTEs, it's Josh Thompson who dominates, and I'll let you know who came P2 30 seconds later, because that's how dominant he was. Mateus Lucas takes P2, like I said, 30.6 seconds behind Thompson. P3 was Jorge Augusto. Flavio Saturino was P4. Ian Jones takes P5. Actually, I just want to say Tatarino was the big gainer. 10 places he made up there. Back to the list. Gianluca Ostov takes P6. Visparelli had a up and down race. He started 7th. He was up high, down low, finishes 7th. Tommy Ojala goes into P8 with Andrei Bistov had the incident there, P9. Axel Bregman. By the way, all these guys are now mentioning were lapped by the lead GTE Josh Thompson. Jeffrey Constigfield was 11th. Marcel Rapoche had a great battle early in the race but finishes 12th. Jean-Luc Denea 13th. Vince Gorad finished 14th. 17 laps down from the main racers, so 12 laps down from the GTEs with Jean-Marc Trappier. Orimas Genikudvictus was 32 laps down from Josh Thompson, and Fabio William, I believe, didn't actually grid, so did not start.
Yeah, well, it's a very entertaining race, I have to say, especially given the it's a track that's not been used quite extensively in ILMS. Poor Nathan, by the way, having a collision with the wall.
Apparently, he does say that your reaction, Nathan, he said that your reaction was amazing. So,
well, I
yes.
mean, Nathan is my driver of the day, just for giving me that reaction.
Do you know what? I mean, if you can find it and put it in slow-mo, I won't give a driver of the day. Just put that as driver of the day, if you can find that in slow-mo.
Ooh, I'll try.
I'm hoping for somebody to clip that, and that just goes somewhere. It's bad, but it was a very entertaining race. Bit of controversy, a bit of accidents and turning. And funny enough, I was expecting a lot more accidents between classes, and it was more between the same class that was causing incidents. So that was interesting to see.
Driver of the day goes to Nathan LeMans, not for winning the race, but for giving us this move.
Oh, that's brilliant. And Nathan, if no one's clipped it, I will clip it. Do not worry. Because...
oh, reverse. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing.
Pack it up. We're done. Pack it up. We're done. I think that's it. How can you beat that? Let's be brutally honest. How do you beat that? It's not happened. We have had our speeding in the pits moments. We've had our missing your pit box moment, but spinning, that's a first. So that was fun.
We're gonna do this one more time, just in the overhead, and just having an extra camera let's go into the review.
Oh no. This is cruel. This is cruel.
I figured out how to use the system just for moments like these, and there he goes.
This is Titus O'Neil in the greatest Royal Rumble. You are making a. I feel sorry for Nathan. Am I right though that Nathan did win the Ford GT2 class in our race in the Fanatec GT1 challenge last Sunday? I must admit also.
I think he might have.
Just to say, while I'm plugging that, what a great segue to a plug. We'll be back Sunday at 1945 GMT for the Fanatec GT1 challenge at Daytona 2008. And do stick around for that, because that'll be fun on Sunday. But and also I did see people wanting to rip the microphone out of my hands and say they can do it. And by all means, the more the merrier. Please come forward. We would love to grow this commentating community to help grow the lower echelons of iRacing. It's a small project that Rob started just for ILMS, and it's growing, and it's great to see just almost a grassroots form of broadcasting has taken over. Not fully taken over. We're never going to be the race bots. We're never competing with them. We want to help assist them. And, with everything. And it's great to see this grassroots come. So come and have a go. It's fun. You will love it.
Indeed, indeed. Just give me a GM. I'll put you through the paces and we'll see how compatible we are. But until Sunday, what do we say, Craig? Always, what do we say?
Hi, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for the news on our next videos. I have butchered that.
God damn.
I butchered that.
God damn.
Right. Thank you very much, everybody. It has been another entertaining race. We will be back next week, and I believe next week is a big race. Am I right or am I right?
I think you're right.
Because next week we go to Spa.
We will see you at Radion, where this whole meme started. Take care, guys. Have a great and awesome weekend. We'll see you all Sunday.